Happy New Year, everybody. What is good?
They say guess who's Bazak is what they is how the song goes or something like that.
We're
Yeah. Welcome back, fellas.
What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? Let's Be Real podcast. Man, let's get this intro video going. Man, I miss y'all. This is our first episode all year, man.
It is. It really is. And it's the first one without Cap, man. For those that don't know, Cap's doing big things with the Grizzlies right now. So check him out every week on the Anthony Sane show. But let's get to this intro.
Let's get it.
Welcome to Let's Be Real Sports Podcast, presented by Let's Be Real Media. Watch us live on YouTube and Twitter, and follow us on TikTok and Instagram at LBR_media. Also, subscribe to us on any podcasting platform.
What's going on? BLJ here, the best hype man in the NBA. Man, I'm here with Let's Be Real. Tune in. Hello.
Again, this is the Let's Be Real podcast, man. Your host at Tev Shakir, co-host Trev. What's good, brother?
Man, what is good, everybody? Man, Happy New Year. You know what I'm saying? First time all year. Of course, we got some folks in the comments already. Just right out the gate. Big shout out to Carlos Yates, showing his allegiance for the city. And we'll get to it later, but Lito, what's good, man? Talk to the people.
Lito, Sam, we like the sun coming out too. What's up?
Bro, don't let that fool you, bro. We still over here boiling water, bro. We still over here boiling water, Shout out to the tagline right there. Memphis like gas and boiling water is what they need to change their name to. But good to be back, fellas. It's good to be back on a Saturday afternoon.
Man, let me get to boiling this water. Let's
Blessed to see y'all, man. I was talking to Shark yesterday. I was asking, how cold is it? 25 degrees. How hot is it out there in Phoenix? Shit. Multiply that by 3, my boy. Literally.
Sheesh, what a flex. What a flex.
Must be nice.
Must be nice. Not for real, it must be nice.
It's a beautiful thing, man. But let's get it going, man. Of course, follow the gang at LBR Media, man. We're 15 subs away on YouTube, so make sure you hit us up on YouTube from 200. Help us get to 200. Let the homies know. Let your girls know. We need them all, man. We love good sports talk. Hit us up in the comments. Y'all know the vibes here, Trev. What man? They know the vibes, bro.
Yeah.
Ryan, what's up, man? Ryan, oh, there we go. Speaking of Ryan, man, make sure y'all definitely support the other podcast, 3 the Hard Way, myself, Savage, and Sheedy get well. Of course, we're gonna have a different guest on until he gets back. But Sheedy, we rocking with you, Brody. Jeans report. Happy birthday to the guy Jeans. Again, happy birthday, Jeans. Happy birthday to the guy LBR Gaming. We finally gonna get our first rec game in very, very, very soon. Make sure y'all follow us at LBR Gaming with Trevor. Again, 15 subscribers away from 200 on YouTube. Ryan Harris in the comments. Ryan, we got you, dog.
No, actually, can we replace the word borrow with have? Like, I need to be able to keep it. I'm not with the intentions of not giving it back.
We need about a good 35.
But of course, Ryan always in the comments, man. Your favorite commenter's favorite commenter. He will be joining the network. Again, he will be joining the network with his own NFL podcast. Looking forward to it, Ryan. Of course, you've been rocking with us from damn near the start. Crazy work with the Titans, crazy guests he'll be coming on. And of course, he'll be joining the family very, very soon. So again, salute to day 3 without water. Damn. Salute to Ryan. And of course, salute to another possible, I ain't gonna even say possible because I know the guys that'll be working it. Another podcast will be on their way. So LBR Network, we moving. We moving. That's all I got to say. But speaking of movies, guys, let's move along to first, of course, the flowers, man. Of course, definitely want to give flowers. I know we probably got a few flowers that we definitely need to, but it'll be crazy for me to first give a shout out to one of our fan favorites. Growing up, Sports Illustrated, they would no longer be issuing paper copies for those like myself, like everybody on this podcast, probably listening, we all grew up to, you know, Sports Illustrated and reading it with our parents and reading, you know, with ourselves and, you know, being with yourself, whatever you're doing with the Sports Illustrated women's side, you know, whatever you got to do, it's all good. Sports Illustrated was a staple in our community, in our youth, in our childhood growing up. Fellas, y'all got any comments on, you know, Sports Illustrated giving them their flowers, and also what kind of, you know, covers, what were y'all favorite covers of Sports Illustrated?
Oh man, it's tough to see this day come for Sports Illustrated, man. But kind of in the back of your mind with the way things have been going, you kind of knew this was coming, because gone are the days of the physical copies of magazines. What up, C-Hen? Stick around for my flowers, because you're probably gonna probably enjoy that one. But yeah, for Sports Illustrated, man, it was great seeing it. I don't want to take the obvious one. I'll let someone else do it, because I'm pretty sure that was everybody's favorite cover.
Go for it, brother. Go for it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll do it. Obviously, it's the iconic cover with the Tigers and the Vols with Chris Douglas Roberts and Chris Lofton on there.
Yes, sir.
That was right on, if I'm not mistaken, that cover came out right on the heels of the 1-versus-2 matchup.
Yep.
Which is probably one of the best college games I've probably ever seen. My only thing was I wish I could have been in FedEx Forum for that game, but that one's a good one. The Grizzlies one, when they had their run in 2013 to the conference finals, that's another good one. It's just so many iconic ones. I'm just gonna name the two for Memphis. I'll let everyone else get theirs in. But yeah, definitely kudos to Sports Illustrated for just being a beacon for sports media practically since we've all been on this earth.
Yeah, so many to cover. First of all, it's definitely shouts to Sports Illustrated. I think I'm not sure exactly when they were started, when they were established, but definitely been around since we've started to watch sports. I remember getting some of those in the mail. They were always some of those covers that you see when you go to the doctors or dentist offices. And, you know, for us being sports fans, that's the magazine, or that's the one that we're grabbing, right? So kudos to that team for having the tenure that they did. And, you know, and prayers for those that definitely lost their jobs, and hopefully that they can find something soon. I don't necessarily have one in particular, but definitely the one, I can't remember what year it came out, but it was the one with, they had Jordan on it. I think the title was like MJ Rises Again or something like that. Just as a big fan of sports, as a big fan of Michael Jordan, literally probably one of the first basketball players that I started to watch. I was kind of late to the game compared to some of y'all. But MJ is just one of literally probably the greatest of all time, regardless of who you want to put into that conversation. But mine is the one with MJ on it for sure.
Okay.
Nice. And of course, the first issue, I looked it up, 1954, the first issue.
Sheesh.
Oh, yes, sir.
It's a long time, G.
That is
it's a long time.
And of course, got a couple more flowers. Trev, you mentioned C-Hen. Go ahead and take that away.
Man, look, I'm just gonna keep it straight and simple. My flowers goes to the entire state of Michigan. They probably had one of the greatest weeks ever in sports, from the weekend all the way up until this past Monday. Starting off with, of course, the University of Michigan winning the national championship. Convincingly, I may add, knocking off the University of Washington. Then you had the Lions getting their first playoff win, in 30 years, and their first win ever at Ford Field over the Los Angeles Rams with Matthew Stafford. And to kind of put a bow on this, we saw the entire Fab Five all together once again. For those that know, we grew up watching.
I gotta give a round of applause for that.
Yes, you got to give a round of applause. Jalen Rose and Chris Webber finally put their differences aside, and they capped off with them beating Ohio State. Believe it or not, that is also true. The Pistons actually won a game that week as well. So,
but they had to sacrifice them to do it.
Yeah, it is what it is. But big kudos to the entire state of Michigan. You had a hell of a week last week. So here's your flowers.
Past month, for real. No, for the past month, for real. And I just hope that he can pass us some of that cognac that he's been sipping on. I know he been in it. I know he's been.
Oh, I already know he was turned. So I'm pretty sure he was turned at the bar.
If nobody from the podcast is gonna ask, I'll ask. Hey, Hen, just pass us some of that cognac that you've been sipping on, and we can call it even. But no, big shots to the entire state of Michigan. Good one, Trevor.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, man. A couple of seasons ago, or maybe last season, when I saw Big Sean out in the crowd performing, I said, yeah, Detroit up to something. Because they got Big Sean just out doing his whole thing, just coming from the crowd.
He was out at the game. He was
man.
there. Eminem was there. They
Detroit is the sole reason why Eminem is still a top seller in Spotify. That's how the folks was rapping that shit lyric for lyric.
Hey, big shout out to Detroit though, man. I love that city, man. Every time I get a chance, that's why I'm happy my wife's from Detroit, and I get it. If she decided that she want to go home, all right, let's do it. Like no questions asked. Reminds me of Memphis. That's why I love it.
We rocking with it. And of course, one more flowers, Lito, of course, if you may have one. We gotta give a salute to Uncle Shannon. You know what I'm saying? We gotta bring up I brought up the interview for the simple fact of you leave Skip Bayless and you put everything in a God's hands, right? And it plays out to not only you're on the number one show on sports media. I think it's the number one show in like time 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whatever that time slot. First take is like number one, like period. But correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all can do y'all own research. If you go to YouTube and search interview, just any kind of interview, the number one most watched interview on YouTube is Cat Williams and Shannon Sharp. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. We done saw the 6ix9ine and the Breakfast Club tear it up. They ain't got it. Oprah interviews, nope. I'm pretty sure that is the number one most watched. Then the keyword is interview on YouTube. So again, I definitely want to salute Shannon Sharp and Cat Williams but kicking off the year, because now we got Stephen A calling people B words and shit. Like just starting the year off as the year should be started. Like you said it right off. No allegiance to losers. That is gonna be the key.
That's the quote of 2024 already. We not even done.
I ain't gotta change it. That's gonna be the quote that reminds of what 2024 was. Oh man, yeah. What y'all got to think about the Shannon and Cat?
If you just YouTube search the word interview, the first 4 options that come up all reference the Cat Williams interview.
Come on now.
With the 4th one actually being Cat Williams' interview with Uncle Shannon. So yeah. Shannon is running the whole sports media right now. He's on top of it right now. You can't even. Yeah, he has that going. He has First Take going. He has the Nightcap with Chad Ochocinco, which I laugh every time I see clips of that show. Is someone described it perfectly as the 2 uncles that be at the barbecue talking before the alcohol get involved and they get worse.
they comment already.
Yeah, no, I think what Trevor took. You already said it. I think it's one of those. It's a testimony, right? I think it's one of those that like one of my frat brothers told me this other day that like when God takes something from you, He gives it back to you tenfold. So with him leaving the show that he had with, I think he walked away from it. I think let's go with that. Him walking away from that show with Skip, and then securing the bag with ESPN and First Take, then securing. Which he had already had at the time, but then for his podcast to blow up the way that it did, man, that's nothing but God, bro. So kudos to Shannon for taking that leap of faith and trusting God throughout that entire process. And now he's getting everything that he deserves, plus more. So definitely happy for Shannon Sharp and everybody associated with him and his family.
Amen to that. Let's get it, guys. Of course, football is king when we're talking about America. So let's get on into it. First round. First off, let's do a quick recap. Of course, if you've been sleeping on the rock, we can go quickly through each game. Of course, Cowboys got their asses whooped, handed to them. We kind of expected it. If you
usual.
If you just watch, if you got a little football knowledge like myself, you know that the Cowboys are going to embarrass themselves per usual, and they did against the Green Bay Packers. What are y'all thoughts?
Well, first of all, can we make? I guess that's what the first or second weekend of January. Can we make that a holiday? That holiday should be known for, let's I'm not sure what the heck to call it, but it's always that first or second weekend in January. I think it's the second weekend where they just they lose, and it comes in a very entertaining fashion. So I'm going to propose that and see if
kind of similar to Columbus Day. Can we just call that weekend in January Jerry Jones Day? Because we know, because we know in some kind of fashion the Cowboys are going to find a way to choke it all away, and it's crazy.
Yeah, no, I think for me for that game, the only thing that I'm shocked about is how they lost. I definitely didn't see that. I wouldn't say I rode on their bandwagon a little bit, but I think there was a feel that the Dallas Cowboys were a little bit different, right? Because you saw that the year that Dak Prescott had, granted it being against whoever you want to call it, whether you want to call it inferior competition, whatever the case may be, but he did step up against some above 500 teams. So there was a little bit of that feeling where if you felt as if the defense wasn't going to step up, then at least Dak Prescott could at least carry his team enough to kind of get through that, especially knowing how bad of a defense that Green Bay had. I didn't see them getting blown out like that. That was pretty bad. So it was on both sides of the football where Green Bay was able to stop them and actually kind of handcuff them a little bit. But then their defense got exposed really, really bad. And I didn't necessarily see that. So if nothing else, Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love had a really, really good game, a really good game plan for the Dallas Cowboys. And I thought that was the biggest thing that I took away from that. I didn't see that.
Yeah, for me, honestly, when I thought just like Skyler, things may have been different when they won the NFC East, because I expected Dallas to be right there, but I did not pick them to win the NFC East. I think number one saw the collapse that the Eagles had for them to have, but when you had the schedule that they had, they tend to fall apart. So, but yeah, Jordan Love in that game just looked comfortable out there, and he looked like a pro. Wouldn't say Aaron Rodgers is just that quick, even though he's been in the quarterback room with him. But this is typical of Dallas every single year, and it's the gift that keeps on giving to America. Like, so long as Jerry Jones is in charge, like, Dallas is just going to be mediocre. They're gonna sell you that they're gonna be good every year. They're gonna bring in money for the NFL, for America, and all that stuff. And then when it's time to really get things going, they have a choke job every single time. And it's just as not that they did it, but it was how they did it. Like, Green Bay came out and punched them in the mouth, and Dallas just said no mas. Like, that game was over in the first quarter. For those that don't know, and for them to practically be bringing everybody back, Mike McCarthy's coming back. I'm pretty sure Dak is going to be back unless something magical happens and they look to go in a different direction at quarterback. It's going to be more of the same, sadly, for Dallas. So, but hey, it's entertaining, so I'm going to keep laughing. I'm going to keep enjoying it while let's do it. But yeah, hell, we can do January 20th or January 15th, Jerry Jones Day. So
we can't do the 15th. It's already too much going on the 15th. Let's not do the 15th.
Yeah, like you're right.
Let's be let's see. Speaking of choke jobs, Baker Mayfield, my guy Baker Mayfield, Bucks Eagles 32-9. Hey,
can we bring out?
Hold on. Before we go, we got a question regarding Dallas before we move on. So CN asks, is it Dak, is it Mike McCarthy, or is it Dan Quinn?
I think it's just God.
God
did.
God is doing. He gonna continue to do. What's our commandment? If somebody show us who they are, we gotta believe. God continues to show us who the Cowboys are for whatever reason. It's nobody's fault. It's God's plan.
Honestly, I'm gonna answer the question. I think it's everybody, all parties involved, and it's more so Jerry Jones. Because going into the season, they were looking to run the ball more, so there's not a whole lot of pressure on Dak. But instead of getting a comparable running back to replace Zeke, because they didn't want to pay Zeke, they thought Tony Pollard was going to be that, and unfortunately he wasn't, and he isn't because Tony Pollard is small, and they not utilizing Tony Pollard the way that he was utilized at Memphis, which would have made Dallas a much better team, in my opinion. If you wanted to put emphasis more on the run, you could have just called Leonard Fournette and just signed him. He would have been a nice little replacement, and he would have been cheap. But hey, that's just Dallas for you. So I'm just gonna say everybody, in addition to God. So there you go.
Well, I think regardless of whoever they brought in the running back room, they weren't gonna run the ball anyway. Like if you go back, like the part of the if I may be wrong when I say this, but part of the reason that why they let Kellen Moore go is because they wanted to run the football more. Well, if you go back, if you look at the stats for this past year, they threw the ball actually a whole lot more this year than they did the past couple of years. So, which is crazy, which is why I think my answer is Jerry Jones. I think at the end of the day, to what you just said, when somebody shows you who they are, then believe them. Jerry Jones, in my opinion, does not do enough to equip his team to ensure that they're equipped when it comes for the playoffs. Their lack of being able to stop the run, we saw that all season. Mm-hmm. They did nothing to address that. Trayvon Diggs went out. In my opinion, they did nothing to address that. Granted, you had Bland and you had Gimme, who had really good seasons. But at the end of the day, when it comes to the playoffs, people are going to expose you where you are weak. And that's what we continuously saw. And I feel like Jerry Jones and the entire organization did not do enough to say, okay, how can we stop the run? Granted, we're playing the Commanders. Granted, we're playing the Giants. And granted, we blew the doors off the Eagles, towards the back half of the season. And, and maybe it looked as if, or it appeared as if we had a good defense. But then there were games or there were times where the Cowboys and their defense, quote unquote, showed you that they couldn't stop the run and they couldn't do enough to prevent a good passing defense or passing offense. So they did none of that. And essentially, like, as much as we were surprised about how Green Bay scored, a little bit of that is like, you kind of saw that the entire season, right? So I think it's more so Jerry Jones, and him not taking chances or him doing the requisite things to put his team in a better position, thus bringing back Mike McCarthy.
All right.
God. Okay.
Yeah, God did.
Oh man. All right. Now I can get it out. Baker Mayfield. Next round, choke job by the Eagles, or did Baker just kick their ass, man? What we doing? What we saying about Baker? The Tampa Bay Bakerfields.
Hey,
we call them Baconeers. No, they the Baconeers now, bro.
No. Hey, I will.
He was on our trash ass Panthers that I'm gonna talk about later. We let him go, and now he went to a team that got actual talent. They the Baconeers at this point. Extend my guy.
So let me say, I feel like as much as I and maybe Trevor, I'm not sure if Trevor's going to go here, but I would like to send apologies to Baker Mayfield for having actually a really good year. Like, it's one of those, like, it's a commandment of ours, the information has changed. Shout out to Savage. But Baker Mayfield had a really, really good year. I was one of those that, like, I was skeptical of Baker Mayfield and said that he was a product of his environment, that he was only as good as the talent around him and he couldn't elevate his team to take them to the next level. Well, granted, I still felt that way a little bit, but to see what he did in Tampa, getting his team to the playoffs, even though the division was pretty bad, getting his team to the playoffs, but then blowing the doors off the Eagles, I think says enough, and it warrants an apology on my behalf. So apologies to Baker, and wishing him well throughout the rest of his career.
Yeah, I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. We gotta give a shout out to Ty Bowles, man, for his defensive schemes, and just said, "Damn the torpedoes, we coming, we bringing the blitz, we coming after Jalen. Do something about it." And the game plan worked to perfection. But in Skyler's point, I will also issue an apology to Baker Mayfield. A hot take that shouldn't really be a hot take. Baker Mayfield deserves to be NFL Comeback Player of the Year. It's not. It's not even a question. Damar Hamlin only got it because he's still alive. Let's just keep it a buck. And we'll get to the Bills later when we talk about Bills and Steelers. I'm sorry. I mean, it is what it is. It's a great story, but if we're talking about comeback player of the year, and we're talking about actual play on the field.
I mean, he did come back from life. Or come back to life. Like that's
true. But for your comeback player,
man said if you can't be comeback player of the year after coming back from life, then
I mean, no, I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it at all. I get it 100%. But if we're just talking about what the actual reward means, because at one point they stopped talking about him and started making the case for Joe Flacco, and I'm like, no, if there's somebody that should be comeback player of the year, it is definitely 100% Baker Mayfield. For what he's done with the Buccaneers all season, for not only for them to get a W, to win the NFC South, get a home playoff game, catch an Eagles team that was reeling pretty much, and pretty much put the smackdown on them. Hey, I gotta give it to them. So, hey, shout out to the Buccaneers or the Bakerneers, as y'all want to call them now.
Nah,
Trevor, you were doing well until you said
no, I did. I'm not calling them that. I'm still gonna call them the Buccaneers, and I'm still, gonna give my kudos to Ty Bowles, who should definitely be the coach of this team going forward. So, shout out to Baker and the Buccaneers, man.
Yes, sir. I think it's all Savage fault, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna get my shit out on them tomorrow when I see him. But pretty much he called. So it was a comment on Instagram, and I got him on 3 Hardaway. It was a post on Instagram. Excuse me. It's asked, is Cam Newton a Hall of Famer? And I found his comment, and his comment was no. So karma, call it God, call it whatever. But shout out to Cam Newton. If we're gonna give flowers, shout out to him too for calling out the bullshit that we see. And he didn't call the bullshit on the Eagles, but like I said, that's just karma, and I blame Savage. But anyway, let's continue. I don't know if it's karma or not. But the Steelers and the Bills. How y'all feeling about y'all? So, well, you know what? We're gonna come back to them. Because that'll segue us. Let's go ahead. Rams and Lions. Again, I don't know if it's karma again, but Matthew Stafford looked pretty happy, I guess, losing to his former team. Of course, he sent them good wishes. Shout out to Detroit again. We talked about them, but again, shout out to Detroit. This is y'all time, even though y'all possibly did have to sacrifice the Pistons, who I thought were going to be in the playoffs. So y'all got me looking like a dumbass. But again, shout out to them for being the LA Rams. The Rams, they on the come up. They got a youngin in Pakua. I forgot they had Cooper Kupp at one point of the season. So again, shout out to the Rams. But again, Detroit, this y'all time. Good luck to y'all. Y'all got any further comments?
The Lions were the better team here. I just want to keep it 100 there. I think the Rams did have a shot, but losing to Kyron Williams at some point in that game kind of pretty much knocked them out of the game, because they were actually able to keep it close when they were running the ball effectively, and Stafford was getting the ball out to Puka. But yeah, the Lions was just a better team. It was destiny at this point for them to get that W. So that's all I really got on that game. It's not really much to talk about there.
Yeah, Detroit was definitely the better team. I think Sean McVay definitely deserves kudos for getting his team to the playoffs, right? I think I went into the season not respecting the Rams that much. I know I didn't, just from the sheer fact that I feel like they've lost a lot of talent on the defense. And I wasn't sure if Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay would be able to rise above all of that and get the team back to the playoffs for sure. And heck, they really did. And their offense actually looked even more potent than it probably did even the past few years. With the rise of Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp was still there. Matthew Stafford was still Matthew Stafford at times, but definitely, again, still had a pretty good season. But all in all, Detroit looked really, really good. We talk a lot. I think Dan Campbell gets some flack, but I think he does a good enough job for the Lions. I think he has instilled life, belief in the team, but not only the team, but in the city as well. Therefore, his team is playing really, really hard for him. They made some adjustments on defense by bringing in some really good talent on that end. So I think Detroit looked really, really good. Happy for the team, happy for the organization, and kind of looking forward to see how they look next year. Like I don't know what they'll look like or how their season will end this year, but I'm hoping that they can still continue their good play and kind of take control of the North, bar Jordan Love still being there. So happy for Detroit and winning that one.
All right.
And of course, y'all Steelers, man. How y'all feel about the Steelers taking that L to Josh Allen?
So before we get to the Steelers, let's touch on Chiefs Dolphins. That's the other game we didn't touch on yet. So anything on Chiefs Dolphins, man?
Oh no, hell no! I told y'all when Tua came.
Here's
the thing, and I'll be real serious. I told y'all back in college I didn't believe in Tua. He had a hell of a season. Tyreek Hill let me down first week in the playoffs, but it is what it is. He had an amazing season. But anytime they will go against some competition, they lose. Point blank, period. So as long as you got a competent quarterback and you're going against the greatest quarterback in this NFL game right now, they were gonna lose.
So they were the Cowboys. They're the Cowboys of the AFC, basically.
Pretty much. Until further notice.
The only thing I took away from the game was just a reminder, and I don't care how broke I have to go about doing this, but I will. I'm just not going to bet against Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid. I could care less. I don't care what they look like in the regular season. I could care less if they lost 6 straight games. At the end of the day, if I have to lose all of my money, I'm just not going to bet against Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid. Granted, their offense still does not look as potent as it had been, but if nothing else that carries into the playoffs is a good running game and a good defense. And I'll be damned if Kansas City has, if not the best defense, they have at least top 3, top 5 defense in the league. And with that, I feel like with that alone, Pat Mahomes is going to make enough plays. He's going to instill his team to win, which is why I was not shocked that they won their game last week. And depending on what happens today, I wouldn't be shocked either. And that's not predicting anything, but it's Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid, bro. Like, I'm just not going to bet against that.
And then nobody pretty much expected them to have like a pretty good defense too. So I think that kind of shocked a lot of people.
Yep.
Cool. Y'all want to talk about how the Steelers got y'all ass whooped now? Or did y'all expect it? Or
kind of expected it.
I'm putting it like this. We kind of expected it to happen, to be honest with you. However, I will say this, and Skyler may disagree on this. This is probably the best that the Steelers have played in the playoffs since last getting that win in 2016. More than likely, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to think back to, since getting to the AFC Championship, I think this is probably the best that the Steelers have played because they were pretty much in that game. Unlike the Cowboys game, the Steelers were down 21-0, and they were pretty much in that game and had a chance to win it. And I don't know what Steeler Nation was talking about with Mason Rudolph. I just sat and kept quiet because I'm like, y'all talking about Mason Rudolph like this. I'm telling you, he's gonna let you down. And 2 crucial turnovers in the game. Crucial penalties down the stretch. Of course, we did have some missed calls or whatever. But now it's on to the offseason, and we got to find a quarterback. Preferably for me, I prefer to have Justin Fields, but, it is what it is.
Yeah, honestly, being real, I'm not surprised we lost the game in the fashion that we did. Why? Because it's the same fashion we've lost every other playoff game that we've been in. The Steelers season that happened to go 10-7 is kind of essentially roughly what they've done over the past 6 or 7 seasons. They've snuck into the playoffs and or just missed it. When they get into the playoffs, they give up 30 points a game. Trev and I have said over the past couple of years, granted, I understand that Steelers need a quarterback. I definitely understand that. But at the end of the day, if your defense will continuously give up 30 points a game in the playoffs, damn near regardless, whatever your quarterback is, you're probably going to lose the game. So that's my take on it. If you tell me at the beginning of the year that Steelers will go 10-7, I'll be like, I would probably take that. Now, granted, the way that they went about going to 10-7, very much so frustrating. But if you tell me they go 10-7, I'll be like, okay, and they'll make the playoffs. I'm like, okay, I could see that. And if you tell me at the beginning of the season they'll just make it in and they'll lose to either Kansas City or Buffalo and give up 30 points, I'll be like, yeah, I could see that. So nothing about the game surprised me, none whatsoever.
Exactly. Way to be real, y'all. And we're gonna talk more about the Steelers, of course, in a bit, but let's get into the actual games for today. What up, Trev?
No, I was just gonna say let's get to the games for today and tomorrow. Actually, so.
All right, so let's get into the game that unfortunately is so early as far as like black quarterbacks. I guess it can only really be one. Texans and Ravens.
Why this game couldn't be prime time, man? This should have been prime time.
The NFL gonna regret it. The NFL are gonna regret it, but of course, Ravens and the Texans. CJ Stroud, you know I wanted you from the jump in a Panthers uniform.
Frank Reich did too.
Frank Reich did too. That may have been a reason he got fired, but again, we'll talk about my sorry ass Pittsburgh Panthers in a bit. But CJ Stroud, great season. But of course, I'm saying all this because I do, not to fast forward, but I do have the Ravens in the Super Bowl. And that unfortunately means beating one of our black young kings in CJ Stroud. What are y'all thoughts about this game?
Man, the winner of this game is gonna be black people because we black people all together, man. Man, look, get your drink, roll you up one, get you some wings.
Just one.
Sit back and enjoy the show. But I will say this. To Savage's point, that is a good point. Can Lamar Jackson come out and win a game when it's actually cold outside? Because typically when it's cold outside, Lamar has had difficulties. But I got the Ravens winning this game handily. But I will say this: I will not be shocked if Houston pulled off an upset. I think DeMeco Ryans is doing a hell of a job as a head coach there. Should have some serious consideration for coach of the year. And if there's anybody that can come up with a scheme to slow down Lamar Jackson, I believe it's DeMeco Ryans. So I'm picking the Ravens, and I think it'll be a little bit closer than normal. But it wouldn't surprise me if Houston won this game. But I'm going with the Ravens.
Yeah, to what Savage is saying and Trevor's saying, like, I think Houston's going to win this game. And they should. I shouldn't even feel this way because Baltimore has a really, really good defense. And I owe them an apology too because I think I started this season by saying, like, I don't know how good their defense is going to be. And at this point, like, Baltimore is historically always going to have a good defense. I don't care who they put at DB or who they put at linebacker, whatever the case may be. They're always going to have a good defense. So I think that their defense is going to really – Jesus Christ, bro. I don't know. Because as good as Lamar Jackson is, as good as he is, 1-3 in the play. I think his record is 1-3 in the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And his stats in the playoffs is just not that good. Now, however, Houston, in my opinion, does not have a good defense. And so that's the part that, like, makes me, like, really want to say Baltimore. But DeMeco Ryans, my goodness gracious, like, I think we've all watched football long enough to know that, like, when you see a good coach, it's hard to ignore that. And to see this ride that Houston is on, led by CJ Stroud, led by DeMeco Ryans, is really, really good to see. And I kind of want to keep seeing it. So I think Houston's going to win. And let me take it a step further and give you a score. I'm going to go Houston 24, Baltimore 21. That's
by a field goal.
Yeah, I think it's by a field goal.
Trev, give us a score.
I'm going to roll with Ryan here with the Ravens by 10. I'm going 24-14 Ravens.
Yeah. I think we were missing a point that as much credit as we do give, CJ Stroud, he's still a rookie. And we got a rookie versus who if I were to vote, is going against MVP. And I don't want my MVP. MVP shouldn't lose in the first round. So, don't pull a Joel Embiid, Lamar. Represent, of course, we ruin everybody black. So everybody wins. I think we win more if we were in prime time. But of course, football is king, right? And we can't go against what the 49ers mean to the football universe. And the Green Bay Packers. So they're both future Titans head coach. It's a lot of talk with them coming Carolina too, but we're trying to get everybody. But again, that's another talk for another day. But again, 49ers versus Packers, gentlemen. I do have the 49ers winning. I already put my bets in on McCaffrey getting over. Was it 90 whatever rushing yard. So hopefully that hit for sure. What are y'all thinking?
I'm gonna put my clairvoyant Trevor hat on for this one. I believe the 49ers will win this game because they're gonna out physical Green Bay. But for the sake of this podcast and for my clairvoyant Trevor hat, I'm gonna go with Green Bay. And the only reason I'm going with Green Bay is now too you and I we both believe in curses in sports. So I'm saying this is going to be the Kirk Cousins curse. Since Kirk Cousins has been in the league, no team that has lost to him, that there's no team in the NFL that has lost to Kirk Cousins and gone to the Super Bowl in the same season. The 49ers and Green Bay have both lost to Kirk Cousins this season. One of those teams has to lose that game. And to what Savage is saying, that front seven, don't get me wrong, that front seven with Nick Bosa, Chase Young, and Fred Warner is solid. And I think the Niners will win this game and probably be a little bit more because they'll be more physical. But their problem is in the secondary. And what we just saw last week with Jordan Love and what he did to the Cowboys in secondary, it is what it is. I know all the history and things of that nature, but something's telling me Green Bay may come out and sneak away with this one. Because I believe in curses in sports, and that's the only reason I'm picking Green Bay. But it was 30 years. It was 30 years before the Lions won a playoff game. So it's a time and place for everything. Things come to an end. So yeah, I got Green Bay and I'll, for the sake of the podcast, I will take Green Bay 24-21.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real. I'm going San Francisco winning this game 31-21. Granted, San Francisco does not have a good secondary, but Lord Jesus, they do have a front seven. And I've seen this year's San Francisco team in person when my dad and I went to the 49ers and Cowboys game, and my goodness gracious, I don't know if I've ever seen a front seven in person run that fast, sideline to sideline. It was actually pretty amazing to see. So yes, San Francisco does not have a good secondary, but unlike the Dallas Cowboys, San Francisco has a really good front seven. They have a really good pass rush and really good linebackers that can cover. So I think that's going to be enough to bother Jordan Love. I think that's enough to dang took your left us, didn't it?
I know, right?
I think that's enough to propel them to keep the ball in San Francisco's hands. And still, at the end of the day, I get it. It was the Dallas Cowboys, but San Francisco is going to run the ball, and Green Bay still does not have a good secondary. It's the same secondary that gave up a really good game against the Panthers and a really good game against Chicago's backup quarterback.
Chicago. I agree.
Or was it no? The Giants quarterback, Tommy DeVito. I think this is
Tommy DeVito.
Yeah. So that's the same defense, right? So I think I think San Francisco is going to exploit that and find matchups enough to get them at least 30 points. And I think C-Mac is going to go crazy against that defense as well too.
Yeah. There we go. Cool. All right, let's get to Baker.
Hold on. Who is you picking? You picking the 49ers?
I went with the Niners.
Niners?
Okay. Yeah. I'm going.
All right, we all right. Let's keep it moving.
Let's see. Baker, the Baconeers, and the Lions. Whose triumphant run ends this week? Yeah. I don't know, so I'm gonna ask y'all, and y'all are gonna help me make my pick.
I go with Detroit.
Hands did it for me, but go ahead, Skyler.
Yeah, I'm going Detroit. One, because they're at home. Two, I think they'll find ways offensively to win the game. I actually think this may be a high scoring game if we're being real about it. I don't. Granted, Todd Bowles and his defense is good, and they can bring the blitz. But I think, and the coordinator's name for Detroit is slipping me right now.
Ben Johnson.
But I think Ben Johnson, really good coordinator too, by the way. I think they'll find creative ways to beat the blitz, unlike Philly, who decided to, for whatever reason, to stop running the ball the last half of the season. I don't understand why they did do that. I think Detroit will run the ball more than they probably more than normal, which will probably slow down that pass rush a little bit to then allow Goff to find his receivers in St. Brown, Josh Reynolds, and things like that. So I think Detroit will win this game. For a score of 34-28 in favor of Detroit.
The slipper falls off tomorrow, unfortunately, for Baker and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. To Skyler's point, I wouldn't say that they're going to run the ball more than usual, because I think that's pretty much what they want to do on offense with the two-headed monster of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Which is going to open up the passing game for Jared Goff to make plays to Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Jake LaPorta, you name it. They're going to do. They're going to make it happen. So to your point, I think they run the ball a little bit more. Gibbs and Montgomery pretty much is going to have a decent day, and this one will be interesting though. It will be interesting, and I think it will be high scoring. So I'm really going to go up there. I'm going to go Lions 41, Tampa Bay 38.
Jeez, no defense being played is what you're saying.
Yes.
Jeez, okay.
I'm going to roll with Detroit. I'm going to roll with Detroit.
Oh, my bad. It was Sam LaPorta, not Jake LaPorta. My bad.
Sam, yeah. I'm going to roll with Detroit for the simple fact if the game's high scoring, I hate for me to say it, but if the game that high scoring, the Bucks gonna win, because that means the Lions did come out with the defense or the running game that they shouldn't come out with. But I'm saying that I expect the Lions D to come through, step up, and I expect their running game to do what they need to do. So because of that, because that's traditionally for me, that's how football is won. I'm gonna roll with the Lions, but of course the Bucks will win if they run game is not there and if it's high scoring. But again, I'm going with Detroit Lions. I'm not gonna do that, Lito. I'm giving an answer. It hurt my Buccaneers, you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying if the Buccaneers win, that's why they're gonna win.
Can you stop calling them that?
No, because the Buccaneers win. I'm trademarking that. Let the Bucks win.
I don't even think I don't think you have to worry about trademarking that. Nobody's gonna call them.
Nobody's gonna exactly.
But no, Detroit got a full Cinderella story that I think headlines are going to love and continue to love, that I personally love. So I'm gonna roll with Detroit. And of course, the last game, of course, Detroit and the Bucks will be tomorrow, as well as the Chiefs and the Bills. Fireworks already we've got from this series. I don't know what too much to say about this one. Chiefs always win. Josh Allen, he always not show up when it's time to go against the best in the game. I can't go against the Chiefs like I always do. So give me the Chiefs. I'm gonna go ahead and say my answer now, because fellas, this one, y'all.
I'm honestly gonna do the unthinkable. I'm gonna take the Bills.
Oh boy,
I'm taking the Bills simply because they're at home. That is the only reason I'm taking the Bills. Whoever is able to run the ball effectively will get this one. I don't know. Like you said, you shouldn't pick against Pat Mahomes, but Pat Mahomes has not played a role playoff game. And I think the Bills have beaten them in the regular season. And I think this is what Josh Allen wants. He wants to get Patrick Mahomes in Orchard Park, where he has to play it. Is that what?
I think he needed.
Yeah, he honestly needs this more than anything, and I think this is what he's been looking for. And he did beat the Chiefs in Kansas City earlier this season as well. And I think if they're able to run the ball effectively, I got Buffalo. Will it be close? Yes. This is one of them games where you expect it to be high scoring, but it's actually going to be low scoring because it's going to be a lot of running the football. So I'm going Buffalo 24, Kansas City 20.
Yeah, so as I said earlier, and I'm not going to change away from that. I'm not betting against Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid in the playoffs. I understand that this is Pat Mahomes' first road playoff game. That's irrelevant to me. I feel as if because Josh Allen has played such clean football over the past 3 weeks, it's about time for him to start turning the ball over. And if there's no other defense in the league, well, at least in the AFC that he's going to turn the ball over against, it's the Chiefs, who I believe has, if not the best defense in the AFC, they have the second best one between maybe them and Baltimore. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I think it will be close. I'm going to go Kansas City 22, Kansas City 19. Somehow, some way, Pat Mahomes drives and gets the last position, therefore winning by field goal. So I'm going to go Kansas City, mainly because of their defense. And Josh Allen's going to turn the ball over. I just know it. It's about that time.
It's a reason I'm asking this, but what are the chances y'all think Taylor Swift pull up to Buffalo? I'm asking for a reason.
She's gonna be on TV, so she's definitely pulling up.
Because
they gonna, you know, that she's gonna be in the box with Brady Mahomes and Travis Kelce's mom and company. So yeah.
Because I see, like, even if Buffalo do win, I see how they turn up and they like to throw snowballs meaningfully at people. So I would love just to see.
Yeah, they were throwing them at the Steelers last week.
So damn.
Well, I'd rather them throw snowballs than throw drinks on people too.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna segue our way to the Carolina Panthers season review.
We're gonna hear a word from our sponsors, and then we're gonna talk about how I'm not about to talk about the Carolina Panthers. How about that?
All right, let's holler at our sponsors. Let our sponsors talk.
SeatGeek is the ticket app that takes the confusion out of buying tickets. When you use our code LBR Media, you will get $20 off your first SeatGeek order. SeatGeek scores each ticket selection 0 to 10 to let you know if you're getting a good deal or a bad deal. Click the link in the description to download the app, and remember our code LBR Media for $20 off your first order. SeatGeek, your route to high quality ticket selection.
Yeah, shout out to SeatGeek. Our good folks at SeatGeek. Great, the Kansas City Chiefs swag surf. Do they even play swag surf there? Not to be disrespectful, I know they got black people there, but
they played swag surf at the game, and they had the camera on the box with Taylor Swift and company.
I did see it. I did. Yeah.
No. I actually have a question before we get back into sports.
I give it a C.
This is so unrelated to sports. Toot, as a DJ,
what's up, bro?
Understanding the magnitude and the greatness of swag surf. Why is swag surf being played so much now these days?
Because white people got
it's almost as if it's being played way too much.
Because it's simple answer. White people got a hold to it.
Yeah,
it was a staple in our community. It was a staple of me playing it at all the HBCs, all the frat parties, all the yard shows, yada yada yada. Anywhere that we go, that was our spiritual song. You know what I'm saying? For a young black person, we know how to swag surf.
Agreed, Savage.
And the white people see it and they're like, "Oh shit, we want to have fun too," per usual.
And you know white people pick up stuff at least 10 years too late. Yeah. And you know they pick it up at least 10 years too late. So
what an answer. Because if nothing else that I've learned in the past 3 years is white people want to be black so bad.
Hey man, we love white people.
Paul Mooney said it best.
We love them. They love me. You know, they pay me a lot of money. You know, we love everybody here, but you know,
yeah. Everybody want to be a naysayer, but don't nobody want to be a naysayer. Paul Mooney
still pound to be a naysayer. Oh god damn it! All right, speaking of naysayers, hey dog, why we got the worst owner in the NFL?
I wouldn't even say NFL. I'm gonna say all the sports at this point.
Yeah, and it's
in
not
all
even
the
close,
sports,
actually.
right?
It's not even
like,
close.
Leadership, it starts at the top, right? And when we talk about leadership in anything, whether that's a job, a team, anything that you look at in life, it starts from the top. And if it's piss poor leadership at the top, it's gonna be piss poor leadership at the bottom. I'm not about to talk 10 minutes about my Panthers, but at the same time, it is embarrassing for me to see what's going on because literally I've seen our team lose 2 season games. I've seen us win, 2-3 for us to get Cam Newton. I've seen the worst of it. this was by far the worst season as a Carolina Panther fan that I've ever witnessed. Not for the simple fact of on the field, but it's the fact that we got our asses whooped so much, we got shit to show for it. We got to sit here and watch Chicago. What is Chicago gonna do with a pick where they already got a quarterback, so they really don't need a number one pick. And now we got to give them. We got to watch them see are they gonna deal it? Are they gonna do this? Boom, boom, boom. Meanwhile, we got little ass Bryce Young, who I'm growing to be a fan of. I need to see him with some weapons. I need to see us find a coach that we can actually have for more than a season. I need to hopefully us find a general manager that can make some shit happen. But as a Panthers fan, I'm sad to be one. You can cue the violin music if we had it. It's terrible times in Carolina right now. The times will get better, but it's gonna be another 2, 3 to 4 years. And if Sheedy was on here, he'd hate me to use the R word, which is rebuild. I don't even want to use that for us. The owner that what is the owner y'all set up in an in-house battle. And here's the thing, like there was a time when he shouldn't have been an owner, and we all wanted P. Diddy to be an owner, but I guess in a way they kind of played out in our favor.
What options you
played out in
had?
our favor.
Yeah, them options was not that great at all.
I mean, but again, shout out to the Panthers. I ain't got to say too much. Who the hell want to coach that team is a real question.
Yeah, one more thing.
Who the hell wants to be employed by David Tepper is a better question.
Yeah.
One more thing that you did not mention that I think I watched at least 2 or 3 Panthers games, and it was a noticeable thing that I'm like, damn, like how is your offensive line that bad? Like I understand that Bryce didn't have weapons. The coaching situation wasn't the best, and GM and your ownership isn't probably the worst in the league. But damn it, like to have an offensive line that you threw a rookie out there with no offensive line and nobody to throw to, which is a bad thing to do. Like if you're going to move up that high, then find a way to get him some weapons or find a way to protect him. And you did neither one of them, and he got his brains beat in. And I feel really, really bad for him. Like I'm not going to say if I still believe in Bryce because I think he's a really talented quarterback. Definitely with like a little bit more size on him, but it is what it is. But damn it, if you don't protect the quarterback and you don't give him anybody to throw to, I don't care what your last name is. I don't care what your jersey number is. As a quarterback, you would not do well in this league. So you've got to find a way to address that.
Don't that sound familiar, Skyler? Or Carolina?
I think
does that sound familiar? Does that sound familiar, Carolina?
It's very on brand of them.
I think our goal was because we had the number 1 pick and we selected Bryce Young, but we weren't the worst team. We traded for it. I think our mindset was get the best quarterback available. We had our offensive line last year was easily top 10 and they won 10. So for our offensive line to come in with this kind of group, with this kind of performance, it was underwhelming for me because I seen what this offensive line can do. Yet again, we did have a better running game, and Miles Sanders, we paid him all that money. He can do shit. He was a backup in week 7 damn near. But he's one of the higher paid running backs in the league. But don't get me started with that. But I think that was our goal, was to get the best quarterback available. Did we? As of now, absolutely not. But can it change over time? I think absolutely yes. But that's where we are as a Panthers fan. I think honestly, and Cam Newton actually said it, and I agree with it. I think we should have redshirted Bryce Young. I don't think we should have started him from the jump because he's so small, because of the lack of the weapons that we have. I think, and we did look better with Andy Dalton in a way when we did play him that one game. So I think even if we would have came off the bench, I think we could have had better momentum as the season went along than starting Bryce Young from day one.
My only pushback with that is this: you don't move up in the draft and take Bryce Young number 1 and then sit him. Like if you're gonna do all of that, he has to be out there.
Which is why I wanted CJ. But that's neither here. Misuse Miles Sanders.
Oh, my bad.
I agree with that. I do agree with that, and I wish we could have found. I mean, Chuba Hubbard did his thing, but I'm sitting here looking at a Kareem Hunt, a Leonard Fournette, even Zeke, for lack of better words, just sitting there that could have been our down back, that kind of back. So I agree 100% with that. At the same time, all we did was run, slant passes and slant and all that shit. So screen passes. And so we were trying to get Miles the ball, but I think we were better when we pound the ball, you know what I'm saying? No pun intended. But we're better when we got their running back that just go. So I think hopefully the Panthers would get their head out their asses and go find us a running back that can do such.
All right.
And then speaking of, I guess y'all insider joke with, you know, y'all Steelers, you know, we talked about them before, but off season, of course, the Steelers are no longer in the playoffs. Gentlemen, what are your final thoughts on the Steelers?
You want me to start, Skyler, or you got it? You want me to start? All right. Well, the good news and the bad news is the Steelers did everything that I said they was going to do in the preview show. They went 10 games. They flirted with the playoffs. They actually snuck into the playoffs. We just talked about it earlier. They lost to the Buffalo Bills, 31-17. Now our focus shifts to the offseason. Of course, we had to deal with half a season of Matt Canada as the OC. He's now officially gone. I'm pretty sure everyone else that's on the offensive side of the ball that's coaching will be gone. Mike Tomlin has a year left on his contract. They're already looking to extend him. And they're also looking to look outside the Steelers organization and outside of Pittsburgh for a potential replacement. Obviously, you're going to look to see what you're going to do at quarterback. It's a good feel-good story for Mason Rudolph. I'm pretty sure he's earned himself another contract as a backup in the league. I don't think Kenny Pickett is it, but there's still some reservations there because you kind of want to see him with a different offensive coordinator just to see where it goes. Personally, I would prefer if you just go get Justin Fields because I know Chicago is going to take Caleb Williams with that number 1 pick because they're already talking about bringing in Cliff Kingsbury. So, go get Justin Fields, beef up the offensive line. You got a lot of money, obviously, because of how good they are. You got a lot of money tied up in your defense, but you can get some kind of cap space with a lot of restructuring. Starting, of course, with Cam Hayward, who had an off year this year, and I think he's owed like $16 million next season. So if there's a way that you can restructure that contract, if he really wants to stay in Pittsburgh, you can do something there. Of course, you'll get TJ Watt back. Of course, you'll get Minka back. But yeah, everything really is going to start on the offensive side of the ball. Like you're going to have to find a quarterback to stay competitive in the AFC North because we got fortunate this year, and next year is not going to be. We may not be so fortunate because you still have Deshaun Watson, who, when healthy, is pretty formidable. You still have Lamar Jackson. You still have Joe Burrow, who's coming back. So you got to knock it out with not only just this quarterback situation, but you also got to knock it out once again with the draft and addressing all your needs.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, if you tell me at the beginning of the season where Trevor did that Steelers go 10-7, I probably would have taken that. If you would have told me we got into the playoffs, I probably would have taken that. So pretty much nothing about this season surprised me. So I'll just address what needs to happen. It's one, they need to find a center because Mason Cole, Jesus Christ, got bullied against Buffalo, and that was kind of hard to watch. So you need to address that. You need to figure out who your quarterback is going to be. Find they said this, which right now it sounds fine, but I need to see who this person is going to be. Is you have got to find an offensive coordinator that knows how to come up with schemes to get players open. George Pickens, the lack of receptions and or targets that he has is insane, and he still had 1,000 yards. You've got to find a way to get him the ball. I put this in the group meet that I feel like George Pickens should be getting Keenan Allen targets, which is about 10 a game. Swear to God, I think he should just be getting that many. You've got to find a way to get him the ball. I'm good, in my opinion. I'm good on Deontay Johnson. I didn't like the way he acted towards the back half of the year. Yes, he had some touchdowns here and there, but I didn't like. He still had drops, and he still had those moments where he just doesn't show, I guess, the veteran leadership that you would want him to have. And like Grant said, not everybody has that. Not everybody has that built within them. But he just acted, in my opinion, immature. So I'm good on that. I feel like you should be able to trade him and find something comparable in the draft that you normally always do. So I feel like they should get rid of him.
Hey, Chicago.
Yeah, right. Hey, Chicago, you want to talk again? Speaking of Chicago, definitely, and I don't know if they're going to do this, but I would definitely take a hard look at Justin Fields if I'm the Steelers. I don't think that they'll do that because that's not who Pittsburgh is. But Omar Khan, who's the new GM of the Steelers, has tried to go about things a little bit differently. So I'm interested to see how he's going to do about that. I also want a new defensive coordinator. Terrell Austin is good, but I've said this for years that I feel like the defense can take another step up. I feel like they could be top 5, top 10-ish when you have TJ, when you have Minka. When Minka's healthy, is still one of the better safeties in the league. He was handicapped a lot this year. Yeah, he was hurt a lot this year, so I expect him to be in shape and ready to go for next season. But another thing the Steelers have got to do is find an inside linebacker, and they've not been able to find one since the Ryan Shazier incident. They have got to figure that out because they cannot stop the run, which is what they did not do against Josh Allen and Buffalo Bills, which is what scared me. So center, quarterback. Well, quarterback is one first. Quarterback, center. They've got to find an inside linebacker and then address the coordinator positions, and I think you'll be ready to go. But all of those have got to be heavily invested in this upcoming offseason. Yeah, I'm good on that, big dog.
Yeah, I'm good on that, Pete.
I'm good on that, and I think that only happened because
Minka was out.
well, Minka was out, and I forgot who played the other side. I forgot who played strong safety as well too. Our secondary was bitten by the injury bug throughout the entire year, and so when you go through the first string, second string, and third string, you ain't got no choice but to throw a damn near 40-year-old player back there at safety and see what he can do. No, he played well for Oakland, but trust and believe.
He played well for Vegas, but when he was in Pittsburgh, no.
Trust me. You're talking about Robert Spillane. Robert Spillane is okay,
nope.
But Lord Jesus, he is not good in coverage, which is why they let him go.
Yeah. I think Red Corner's going to extend their career.
Yeah, but Pat Pete boy was Wonder Bread toast out there on that field. I'm sorry.
and maybe because it's new to him, he still has to figure that position out. And so maybe if he tries again next season, he can probably be good at it. But Lord Jesus, he couldn't tackle for crap at that spot.
Bet. All right, let's move on to our next segment. Ironically, we were talking about Sports Illustrated and our favorite, covers. And, we brought up the Tennessee-Memphis game. What people don't know about that time is Memphis was actually number 1. And that was the first time our Tigers been number 1 for forever. And we had that title for less than 24 hours. Coming back to now. We waited years. I can't tell you how long. Probably way longer than when me and Lito were in college. We'll tell you that. For a top 10 Tigers team. Only for having to have that title, that top 10 Tigers, be gone away in a Thanos snap. First of all, let's get y'all thoughts on, the Tigers even being ranked, coming into the top 10, because again, that is a salute in itself. I'm just upset for the fact that we only had it for 17 hours. But how y'all feel about the top 10 Tigers off the jump? And then we get into why they lost against South Florida.
Well, I think for what they've done up until the game against USF warranted them to be in the top 10. Like they had a lot of quality wins. I know one for sure was against Virginia. Skyler, feel free to chime in.
Texas A&M.
Yeah, they had some quality wins to start the season. So, and then they had a strong start to the American Athletic Conference play, which warranted them to be in the top 10. So, I was all for it. And can they get back? I think so. I still think that the Tigers is primed for a deep tournament run. They have everything in place to make a deep tournament run. I'll get to everything else when we talk about the USF game, but just at the surface, that top 10 Tigers was warranted at that point in the season.
Yeah, I think this Tigers team is, no questions asked, it's probably one of the better ones that we've seen in quite some time. In my opinion, I know this may be biased, but hell, I'm going to say it anyway. I think the Tigers are a top 15 team in the country. Like, if you fast forward, if you tell me right now that the Tigers would make it to the Sweet 16, I wouldn't be shocked. But then you could also fast forward and tell me that the Tigers lost in the first round of the NCAA tournament. I would not be shocked for two reasons, and two reasons alone. And those two things would be rotations. I understand what Penny is trying to do. I understand he's trying to make everybody happy. And as a college basketball coach, like that's got to be a difficult thing to try to manage 11, 12, 15 personalities, and you're always trying to recruit them to stay on the team. And you want them all to play, but there should be a way you go about doing that. And when you are subbing in and subbing out 11 guys in the first half of a college basketball game, that is insane. I get what he's trying to do, and I applaud the man. Like, big fan of Penny Hardaway, but he has got to cut down on the rotation, because when he keeps it to 8 guys, hey, if you want to push it and say 9, they can beat. I swear to God, they can beat anybody. Trevor just mentioned all the ranked teams that we beat, and not only did we beat some of them, blew the doors off of them. And I think he was doing that because, of course, you had the Memphis Tigers fans who, shout out to them and shout out to us, who have been showing up to those games and have been very, very loud. In my opinion, have also kind of helped the Tigers kind of will their way to some of these wins. He's got to cut down that. And Lord, it's hard to watch because this is probably my first time seeing this. They can't rebound. And at the end of the day, like, rebounding comes to effort. Rebounding comes down to a want to. And when you don't want to rebound, you will not win games. I don't care if that's at the middle school level, high school level, college, or even the NBA. If you do not rebound, you will not win games. And that is why I'm skeptical of this Tigers team, is because if they could just rebound, take the 11-man rotation out of it. If they could just rebound, they would probably only have 1 loss on their record, maybe 2. They've got to rebound, and Penny has to cut down on his rotations.
That's and it's not to cut you off, but if we go back to even our college days, 10 years ago, that was the issue. So is it just a recruiting thing? Is it a player thing? It is a scheme thing? But rebounding has literally been an issue for the last, I know for sure, 10 years of talking and actually being a part and going to the games consistently as a Tiger fan.
You may be right in that. I feel like at least in Penny's era, and rebounding hasn't been that bad. They have been, their issue has been more so offense for me. Like, they could play defense and they could lock down, but in my opinion, the Tigers' issue has been on the offensive side, and you've only had either one player or only 2 players that you can rely on offense. In this case, you got Quinterly, you got David Jones. In my opinion, he should be getting the ball to Tomlin a whole lot more. Malcolm Banders has been huge, even though he can play for like 3 or 4 minute stretches, has been huge. He has multiple players that can go get their own bucket, and not only get their own bucket, but can get them in waves. David Jones, my goodness, should be like in the talks for Naismith Player of the Year. So it's not really more so offense. It's their defense has been okay, but what the security thing with playing defense is you got to be able to rebound after your stops, and they're not getting that. So you may be right in that, but I would disagree with that. I just think that they have got to rebound the ball better. And a lot of that is on players. A lot of that is a want to, and it's an effort thing. And I don't think a lot of that you can coach. But as a coach, I just feel like at some point you got to say, gentlemen, like if you want to achieve the goal, and if you want to make it to X, Y, and Z spot, you have got to rebound. And that is the biggest thing that's preventing them from winning some of these games in a favorable fashion that they should be.
And why did we lose to South Florida?
Because they couldn't rebound. Simple as that.
They couldn't rebound, and they got
Memphis. I went back and looked at the box score. Memphis won in almost every statistical position. Every stat, including rebounded. The thing about the rebounding numbers, and you can't see this, is Memphis rebounded their butts off in the first half.
Yep.
But could not rebound in the second half. And they were getting stops. But again, you don't get a stop if you don't get a rebound. And that's what allows South Florida to get in the game. Now, granted, the offense could have been a whole lot better. And I still don't understand how David Jones to get more shot attempts. Naquan Tomlin, who is the late addition to the team, how he's getting no post-ups, he's getting no offensive looks.
Facts.
I understand how that's not happening. That's on the coach, in my opinion. But it's still with that not happening, they still should have been able to win the game, but they could not win the game because they could not rebound, and they kept taking contested shot after contested shot, and nobody was attacking the basket. That's why they lost the game.
Yep, and they also got comfortable as well, because if you watch that first half of the game, David Jones was giving South Florida buckets, and they were able to parade that to a 20-point lead, and they took their foot off the gas. They took the foot off the gas, and you saw what happened. And I'm watching the game, and I see USF in a zone defense, and I'm just like, that zone defense bothered the Tigers. And even with that, the best way to beat a zone is to, of course, move the ball. But even if you are getting shots up, you still have a chance at an offensive rebound, because you can beat the zone with offensive rebounding. And the Tigers wasn't even doing that. So it's to Skyler's point, it was a contested shot after contested shot after contested shot. At some point, I'm looking at you, Penny, like, what is your best play to get JQ in a position to make a play? What is your best play to get David Jones going downhill so he can get a bucket? Like, those are things that honestly concern me for the Tigers, because now teams are gonna really gonna key in and start playing zone, and until you learn how to break a zone effectively, that's gonna be trouble.
And the thing about that, Trevor, is, and we talked about this in the group meeting, they beat the zone before. They beat the zone against Clemson. They beat the zone against Texas A&M. They beat it against all these other teams. And the thing that they did to beat it is they would put what's my favorite guy's name? What's the light-skinned guy's name?
To my shoot.
Crap, his name is slipping.
Jordan.
But anyway,
Nick Jordan.
Yeah. Yes, Nick Jordan. They would put Nick Jordan in the middle of the zone, and then they would just run hollow with either Tomlin or Dandridge. And I have not seen that. And I'm just like, yo, Penny, like, where is that? Like, he literally did that for like that 3 or 4 game stretch where they beat like ranked team after ranked team or top or really good opponents. And I just have not seen him do that against the inferior teams. So where he wants to call out his players for like not having the energy or not having the wherewithal to come out and put their neck on, put their imprint on the game. I also feel like he could be better in doing that as well and putting his team in the right spots, so therefore they can do things like that, and him stop putting people in the game that shouldn't be in the game. Like, if you want to play 11 people, then fine, but play 11 people when you up 20 in the second half, not in the first half.
All right, got a few questions here.
We'll be okay though.
Oh yeah, of course. Got a few questions here.
Most likely to improve. I'm gonna go Tigers rebounding.
I'm gonna go Tiger rebounding too.
For those listening, Savage asked the question: what's most likely to happen? Tigers improve on rebounding or Jones passing the ball more? Nah, Dave Jones will score, man. Get that nigga the ball and let him go.
The answer is rebounding. The answer is rebounding because it's so simple to solve for it. It's to play your top 8 guys, your top 9 guys. But when you're playing people, no offense to anybody on the team, but when you're playing people that should not be in the game, that's what happens. Yeah, he's playing people that is just not ready for those moments. So if your big 3-man rotation is Jordan, Tomlin, and Dandridge, that's it. Don't be playing people that should not be playing, bro. Like, that's the thing. He's playing people that should not be playing. Dandridge should be playing more minutes and stop subbing people out every 2 or 3 minutes. That's the other thing that makes me mad.
Yeah. All right, then from our guy Mike, he asked just a general question about zone defenses. And do we subscribe to Bomani Jones' theory? Zone is for cowards. If it's a defense that can be played, it's a defense that can be beat.
A win.
I think if you are the basketball savant that you are, and if Naismith put that defense in the game, you should be able to beat it. It's just that simple. I don't care. The best way to beat the zone is to move the ball, get the ball to your best players, get open shots, knock down your open shots. Simple as that. And if you can't do it, you're in big trouble. Hell, the Dallas Mavericks won an NBA championship playing a zone defense. So
it's the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Did they really play a zone defense?
Yeah, they put Steph in the corner a lot.
I wouldn't say that there was a zone. They were just hiding Steph, and they were just hiding Steph. That's not
agree with Trevor on that one. Agree with Trevor on that one. I don't think a zone is for cowards. I think run effectively. If nothing else, like it allows for you to, like, depending on who you are, right? So let's say you're the Tigers and you're running zone, and you're running zone against a team that is shooting lights out, where they're running the ball up and down on the floor on you. It's to slow down that tempo. It's to kind of allow, you know, them to think for a second longer or for 2 seconds longer to figure out, okay, where does the ball need to go? So I don't think it's necessarily for cowards, but I just think it's it's a game tactic that you can use to slow the game down, or when you're in foul trouble to protect your players, to what Trevor just said, and when you have people that can't guard. I think Memphis's problem is, I feel like they can play zone. I think they're playing zone too much. I think they're a really good man-to-man team. But again, it's not my call, and it's Penny's call, so he knows his team better than I do. I just don't think they shouldn't be running zone unless they are in really, really bad foul trouble. But when they start to play in zone is when they cannot rebound. And I'm just like, I feel like you're good enough straight up man-to-man to just play defense. Your 5 against their 5. I think you're good enough to just play straight up. But, you know, that's not my call.
And shout out to Babani Jones theory. But if you look at any stat sheet, there's a wins and a loss. There's no one, but they play zone. They ain't nothing lost because we didn't play. No, you win or lose, and you got to do what you got to do to get that W. That's simple. That especially when you talk about basketball.
So real quick,
because
me and you will probably know more than anyone else. Would Bomani's team apply to 2K?
Hell no. If I see a point guard that's been a dribble, no.
I'm saying like the whole zone is for cowards, because you know we have a lot of quote unquote squads that will hop in there and will immediately go into a 2-3 or a 3-2 right out the back, and will play it the entire game.
And it's annoying as hell, but I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do to get the dub. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
You definitely.
I just want to throw it out there too.
Look, I hate it and I love it because I've won games against the zone. I've lost games against the zone. I've won games playing the zone. I've lost games. So it's a catch-22, man. You just got to be able to put the hole in the ball and stop the other team from doing it. I mean, it's simple as that. So I get it. It is being a cowardice way because, of course, we want to see the man-on-man defense. I coach AU basketball. That was fun. I mean, you teach your kids to, play together at one point. But I think man-to-man defense do need to be played. Especially when you talk about a Tigers team that's been known for the most part for their defense ever since Penny came. Like, of course, we can talk about, the rotations and the offensive flow and things of that nature. But one thing we can't talk about is defense. He knows how to play defense. And, of course, we can talk about if he should get out of zone more, if he should do more. I think they should get a man more. But at the end of the day, the Tigers are going to play some defense. It is that rebound, and that's been a curse for the better parts of 10, 15 years now. But I think once they see them losing games against teams that they should beat, Penny ain't going to have to say a word at that point. Get y'all asses in there and rebound. It's going to be simple as that. You don't rebound, you don't win a game. And I think it's
that film session going to be crazy.
It's going to be crazy.
That film session going to be crazy.
But I do ask that to say, do y'all expect the Tigers to crack the top 10 again?
Yes.
Yes, it's going to take
the way teams have been losing left and right. There's no definitive number one. There's nobody that's really just dominating. I think if the Tigers can put some wins together in a row, I honestly don't see why not. And then I know Mike has been talking about UT a lot. They're still in the top 5, but that SEC this year in basketball is stacked. So it would not surprise me if a couple of those people in the top 5 now were not in the top 5 later. So, yeah, I could definitely see them back in the top 10. The Tigers back in the top 10.
Yeah, agree. I think even still then, there are some teams ranked in front of Memphis that has way more bad losses than Memphis does, right? So I think it's just a matter of teams will continue to lose. Conference play will continue to happen. The Tigers just have to get to a point where they start to really put their foot on the necks of some of these teams and, establish that I'm going to beat you and I'm going to beat you by 20. So they need to get back to that. And then you hope FAU doesn't take any more bad losses at this point. Low-key, if you're a Tigers fan, you're also a FAU fan because that's right now the only ranked team left on your schedule, and you play them twice. So you're hoping that within that as well too, that they continue to play well, and then you can get both of those wins, and you may even play them a third time in the conference tournament. So yeah, I think they'll get back there.
Good point. Good point. All right, and it's time for our last segment. Of course, I have one. Would you rather troll and all, whatever the fellas got. I have a troll and all. Because at the beginning of the NBA season, talk who's for just a minute. I told everyone in the world, hey, I mean, Ant-Man finna take his next step. Hey, the Timberwolves, they about to take their next step, and they number one in the West right now. So troll and all, they will continue to have that number one seed in the Western Conference. Again, I'm going yes. I said it from the jump, and I'm gonna continue to say it. How do y'all feel?
Yeah, I'm a little unfamiliar with. I mean, I understand that they're number one in the West, but I'm not sure how many games that are they in front by, like in front of the second place team. I think they will. Yeah, so 2 games, and I'm pretty sure that 2 is the Thunder, right? The Nuggets,
Thunder and the Nuggets are top.
Thunder and the Nuggets are both 2 games back.
So I would say yes, barring injury. They look. I mean, I've seen them play a couple of times. They look really, really good. And man is definitely taking his game to the next level. So as long as there are no major injuries, and Cat is playing well too. Like I think as much as I've kind of gotten on Cat before, he's playing a really good season as well too. So I would say yes. Well, it's not a troll. I'm saying.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a troll either. What is a troll is the fact that Anthony Edwards is not in MVP conversations. That is what bothers me more so than anything. But they have been playing extremely well for practically the entire season. Skyler's point, Cat has played well too, so he deserved his flowers there as well. So no, I would definitely say that's not a troll. I think Minnesota maintains this.
Agree. And in the spirit of people, like I know y'all. So if I was to come on here and say some outlandish ish, y'all would be like, too trolling. That's just who he is. At the same time, RG3 knows Jay Gruden. I think we pretty much got a figure on Jay Gruden. Of course, it ain't the troll and all, but what are we watching with this? I do want to get y'all opinion on RG3 and Jay Gruden because this has been funny. It's been entertainment on Twitter for sure. What are y'all thoughts?
All the Twitter beefs, period, have been hilarious. From RG3 to Jay Gruden to the Cowboys, all of Cowboys Twitter going off with the whole Darius Bryant thing and the Michael Parsons and Skip Bayless beef. It's just all hilarious. But the RG3 Jay Gruden beef, to stick on that one, I guess it's all in good fun. I don't know. I just found it hilarious that Jay Gruden snitched on himself on the initial tweet, which set it all off. So that's my thing. And yeah, that's all I really have to say on that one. But yeah, Mike is right there, 100%.
Yeah, well, Jay Gruden, I think there needs to be a level of accountability on both parties. I think Jay Gruden was not that good of a coach, and or the Redskins or the Commanders, whatever you want to call them, was not a good organization. I mean, go back and look at that coaching staff when RG3 was there, and a lot of them are head coaches now, and actually really good head coaches. And for them to not even be that much of a threat like that long, or at least the tenure that RG3 was there, it's kind of sad. I don't think Jay Gruden was that good. RG3 was good for a moment, but then he also got bit by the injury bug, which prevented him from being as good as he probably was his rookie year. So there's that. I think they both should just shut the hell up, in my opinion. Neither one of them was that good, honestly. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Touche. And there we have it. Y'all got anything else? Y'all got one?
I got a year board real quick. And unfortunately, my year board for this week goes to Captain America himself, Carmelo Anthony, man. He was on a podcast and basically talked about how, Nikola Jokic stole the number 15 from him and Denver should have a little bit more respect for him and things of that nature. And I'm just tired of the revisionist history, man. Like, people don't remember, like some of us do remember that you forced your way out of Denver to go to New York. Like that relationship with you and the Nuggets ended really, really ugly. Granted, some of it was with George Karl, and we know how most folks feel about George Karl. And granted, and some of it was because of you. Like, let's just keep it honest. So You had the opportunity to leave Denver in free agency, but you re-signed because y'all went to the conference finals that season. So you decide, okay, we're going to run it back. Things didn't go well that next season, and then you force your way out to go to New York. So for you to pretty much sit up here and say that Denver should respect you a tad bit more, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
I gotta disagree with you. And the only reason I disagree is because when we talk about Carmelo Anthony and the Denver Nuggets jersey, we talk about somebody who brought the Nuggets from nothing. Not necessarily nothing, but at the time, for the better part about 10 years, they sucked. You know, they had the number, what they picked Melo at, number 4? Yeah, they picked Melo.
Was drafted. No, Melo was drafted third.
Third. They got him top 3 picks. So it's like y'all were nothing. So for him to come into the Nuggets organization and do what he did, regardless of how he left, he should not have seen, as soon as he left, somebody with the same number he had on. I mean, I know he left on a bad note. George Karl was BSing. He's still BSing out here to this day. But he shouldn't have seen anybody rock his number. That's like saying if Steph Curry, you know what I'm saying, if they would have went and won, not saying a championship, but he brought them back from mediocrity. If he was to see somebody rocking the number 30 as soon as he leaves, that's disrespectful. And I think you can say that about a lot of teams. You won't never see another number 3 on the Philadelphia 76ers. You want to see a bunch of these things. So, out of all 1 through 99, y'all chose to give him 15. I think that kind of was a slap in his face. It was I want to leave us. Screw you. I mean, and
the same thing happened to Dwight Howard.
Yeah, but there ain't been no other number 12s.
The same thing happened to Dwight Howard. Like literally, when he left to go to the Lakers, they threw that 12 on Tobias Harris. So miss me with all of that.
Okay.
And it was a similar situation to Melo. The way things ended ugly. They wanted to be out. They got out. You got out. Thank you for all you did for the organization. But until that number is officially retired, which I think Melo should have his number retired, but it should be by the Knicks and not the Nuggets. So
yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm with Trevor on this one. I'm with Trevor all the way on this one because if you're Melo, to me, this is just me. He's coming off a tad bit salty because to Trevor's point, you forced your way out. You didn't want to be there. I think
that's the thing. Not to cut you off, Lito, but that's the thing. He was a y'all just gave his man number to anybody. That's the thing. Yeah, we didn't expect Jokic to be this good. Y'all just get here you go. Some foreign guy from another country. Here you go. Give him his number.
I'm pretty sure he asked for the number. He was like,
"It don't matter. It's disrespectful. You were drafted in the 2nd round."
Go ahead, Skyler, because Skyler was actually on.
Yeah, my bad, but that's the point. Like that's disrespectful.
He forced his way out of it, and then again, at the end of the day, hindsight's 20/20. But you don't know that Jokic is just going to be good, to be that good. So where he may have asked for 15, and 15 is not retired, then the number is his, right? And so now Jokic is, Jokic, right? He's one of the best players in the league, and I just feel like for him to say what he's saying and the timing in which he's saying it, to me, it comes off as salty, and it's like one of those that like, Carmelo, you're bored, bro. Like, let's talk about something else versus this number 15 that's at Denver. That's just me personally.
Yeah.
Let me see. And then Mike said, y'all hear about. He said we're getting worried because Carmelo. Yeah, his son tripping. Melo's salty, but his son is tripping. Nah, he ain't. Nah, why nobody being Melo at no damn 17, 18 years old? I can confirm that.
Nah, come on.
Nah. Oh no. At his age, he was a national champion at 18. 19.
Bro was giving Braun the work. Like, no, come on now.
Nah. His son is coming, but that is it. Y'all have one? Y'all good?
No, that was all I had. Scott, you got one?
We got a good hour and a half too. Goodness gracious, welcome.
Hey, we had to give it to him because this is the first one of the new year. We back, but
welcome back.
For sure. Appreciate y'all. I appreciate that, my man.
Yeah,
it is National DJ Day. Is not a day that I realized was a thing. So
it's
you will be surprised at what is associated with each day. Like, just go down that rabbit hole one day.
So what I said from jump is we should give the Cowboys their own day.
Yeah, National Jerry Jones Day.
Nobody else got it.
National Jerry Jones Day. Yes, I believe it. And no, it should
be pick a day in January.
Jerry Jones Day. And it should be on the day that the Cowboys play a playoff game. because we know they're gonna somehow choke it away.
Yeah, even the left-handers got their own. Well, of course, man. Make sure y'all again subscribe to us on YouTube. About 15 subscribers away on YouTube from 200. Man, make sure y'all check out the other dope pods that we have on the network. 3 the Hard Way, including myself, Savage, Get Well, Sheedy, and whatever guests we may have on. Of course, we'll be on tomorrow. Shout out to the Jeans Report again. Happy birthday, Jeans. LBR Gaming with Trevor. Y'all hit them up. Hit us up if you want that smoke. We'll be getting in the rec real soon. And we're gonna be hopping in the pro-am even sooner. So we're gonna be
playing zone.
Huh? Yeah, we running zone.
You cowards.
I don't me personally, I don't prefer to run zone, but if we need to,
I don't either because I make my build capable of playing defense. So
it does get that serious.
It kind of made me mad because the last time I ran with a squad and rec, they was like, bro, let's play a 2-3 zone. I'm like, no, let's play man. What y'all scared of?
Okay, LBR Gaming. Make sure y'all check us out there. Ryan, appreciate y'all. Appreciate everybody that's in the comments. Ryan pod coming soon. Definitely have more news on that one. And of course, a new pod coming soon. I'm not gonna say with whom, and I'm not gonna say about what, but just be ready. It's gonna come rather sooner or later. Again, appreciate everybody for checking us out. Everybody listening. Make sure y'all follow gang LBR Media LBR_media on Twix, Instagram. All the good stuff. Follow yours truly at Tev Shakir on Twitter, Instagram, all the good stuff.
Yeah, I'm still over here boiling water, but I'm still at _Skyler on Twix or Twitter, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, also still boiling water, and I gotta pay my bill. Man, let me get the boiling this water. I'm at the Art of Trevor. Of is still a preposition, so you know what not to do with it.
Of course, man. Y'all have a great, happy Saturday. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us. Till next time, let's get it.
Be easy.